For the longest time, I thought I was just being practical, that having a lot of things meant I was prepared. I told myself I was just sentimental, that it made sense to keep things, just in case, that everyone did it. But if I'm being completely honest, I wasn't collecting things for their usefulness or value. I was hoarding them because there was something hollow inside me, and I didn't know how to face it. It was easier to fill shelves than to sit in silence, easier to scroll through shopping apps than to reflect. Every item I brought home gave me a flicker of distraction, a rush, a moment of illusion that I was fixing something, but that feeling always faded, and once it did, I needed something else to replace it. What I didn't realize then is that I wasn't chasing things. I was avoiding myself. It wasn't about materialism, it was about emotional avoidance. The piles in my room were reflections of the weight I carried within. I didn't have clutter. I had unresolved pain that had taken physical form. Books I never read, clothes I never wore, old electronics, broken decorations, expired memories. Things that filled the space where truth should have lived. Philosophers have long said that attachment is the root of suffering. I always thought that applied to people, never things. But now I understand. It applies to anything we cling to because we're afraid of what we'll find in the emptiness. The truth is, I felt lost, disconnected, anxious, but I didn't know how to name it, much less how to deal with it. So I accumulated. Objects became symbols of control, a way to pretend I was in charge of something even if my inner world was chaos. Psychology calls this displaced security. We try to find comfort in external objects when we lack internal stability. The mess outside becomes a reflection of the mess within. And the more we accumulate, the less space we leave for clarity, peace, presence. I started noticing the symptoms, not just the overflowing drawers and the stress of mess, but the constant fatigue, the difficulty focusing, the shame that came with it all. I avoided having people over. I was embarrassed, not just of my space, but of what it revealed about me. Eventually, I broke down, not in a dramatic, movie-like way, quietly. One day, I just sat on the floor surrounded by all the things I thought I needed, and I realized I didn't feel any safer, I didn't feel any fuller. I felt small, trapped, and deeply, deeply tired. That's when something shifted. A single haunting question echoed in my mind. What am I really trying to hold on to? Was it the version of me who had dreams I never pursued? The memory of a relationship that ended badly? The illusion that I could go back in time and fix? What broke? The answer came slowly, but clearly. I was clinging to a self that no longer existed, or maybe never really did, and so I started letting go. It wasn't easy. Every object held a story, a false sense of importance, but as I released, each one I started breathing deeper. I created space, not just in my home, but in my mind. I realized that I had mistaken clutter for comfort, but in truth, it had become a cage. Minimalism, I discovered, isn't about having less. It's about needing less, about remembering who you are when the noise fades, about choosing what matters instead of drowning in what doesn't. I studied Stoicism, which taught me that the external world is never fully in our control, but our response to it is. I reflected on Buddhist teachings that say, clinging is the cause of our misery. And I looked within through the lens of psychology, recognizing patterns of avoidance, fear, unresolved grief. I wasn't just cleaning my space, I was cleaning my soul. And what amazed me most was that I didn't miss the things I let go of. Not really. I missed the person I used to be, the version of myself I thought I had lost. But in the space I cleared, I began to reconnect with that inner voice, the one that doesn't shout, but whispers, the one that says, "You are enough," without all this. I started buying less, not because I was following some rule, but because I didn't feel the same emptiness anymore. The urge to fill space had faded. In its place, I found calm, focus, freedom, and then something unexpected happened. I started being more present in conversations, in my work, in my relationships. When you're not weighed down by stuff, physically or emotionally, you can actually show up for your life fully. Letting go isn't about loss. It's about liberation. It's about no longer carrying things that were never truly yours to begin with. Expectations, guilt, versions of yourself built to survive, not to live. And if you're someone who feels like you can't stop accumulating, whether it's stuff, obligations, or noise, I invite you to pause. Not to judge yourself, not to shame yourself, but to gently ask, what am I trying to fill? Because maybe, just maybe, what you really need isn't more. It's less. Less clutter, less guilt, less chasing, less hiding, and more presence. More peace. More space to breathe and be. Now, my home is simpler, but so is my mind. So is my heart. And if you're on this journey too, or feel ready to begin it, you're not alone. Hit that subscribe button. Stay with me. We're not here to collect things. We're here to collect moments of meaning and to live a life that finally feels light.